So you got to figure that out. And then you need to kind of figure out what to do with those. Some might have overlapping capabilities. Some might just be so old you need to get rid of them. Some might need to be refactored, or some you want to move to the cloud because you might get some savings there. So hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Tech Tea Podcast with McLean Forrester. I'm Heather McLean.
And I'm Larry McLean. We'll start this week's episode with some current events. I still like my theme music. For current events. Okay, this time it's going to be Microsoft on Tuesday unveiled something new. They unveiled correction, and that's the name of it, right? It's a new capability within its existing Azure AI content safety tool suite, so that it can ferret out and then correct Gen AI responses that aren't directly connected to data sources used to train an LLM. So basically hallucinations, right? So it resides within Azure AI content safety groundedness detection feature.
Wait, what's groundedness? I've never heard that one before.
Groundedness, yeah. When you put it into text, it underlines, because no one else knows what it is either. So you're not alone. Groundedness detection. So when you're training the AI model, the intent is you'll have a set of documents that you consider as the grounded documents. So the information should be found in there somewhere. And if it's not there, that's what this groundedness thing is looking for. So it scans the AI generated content for ungrounded content. It pinpoints specific segments, ungrounded material, ungrounded content is identified. It highlights it, gives the specific text that's incorrect, irrelevant, or fabricated. So it's now learning on itself. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, it is. I'm wondering how we can incorporate that into the LLM that we're working with and the tool that we're building internally. Really interesting. That's cool. We'll have to follow that and see what happens.
So much is happening in AI.
Every day. I feel like every day there's a new thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and you see we're cutting back from two current events, two emerging breaking things to one. It's like, okay, well, yeah, there's only that. There's only
that one.
Yeah.
So, okay, what are we talking about today?
So our topic today, application portfolio rationalization. That's a mouthful, isn't
it? It is, and it's taken me a while to figure out what all those words mean.
No, it didn't. You're shelling yourself short here. So what is portfolio rationalization? I understand what a portfolio is, right? It's the conglomeration of all the things that you're responsible for, really. It's a collection of systems that support organizational operations. Generally, the CIO would be responsible for managing those, right? And so I can imagine if you're a brand new portfolio manager and someone says, here, this is now your responsibility. You remember that scene from Christmas Vacation where he hands Russ that big ball of Christmas lights that are all tangled up and everything else? That's what I envision as a portfolio manager inheriting.
Yeah, it can be like that. I mean, think about it. If you're a portfolio manager, you might be the CIO, you might be somebody working for the CIO. You are trying to manage hundreds, maybe thousands of systems if you're in a really large organization. And these are like critical systems that run your organization. So they've got to be up and going. They've got to be available for people to use. And, every year that goes by, they probably get more expensive. You're starting to see tech debt.
Describe what we believe tech debt to be.
Well, I mean, just in a system itself, you could have things were built a certain way that you maybe later we're going to go back and redo or improve. And maybe you never got to do that. Or maybe you need to upgrade to newer versions of parts of the software. That's tech debt. You need to go in and upgrade all those. And so there's all those work involved in maintaining those systems. And they get costlier every year. And then the older the technology gets, the harder it is to find people to work in that technology. So this is part of the challenge of the portfolio manager, is just try to keep all these things going, but then, well, how do you find time and energy and money to modernize? How do you figure out when something's too old and you need to maybe retire the system? So
That's a big concern too, because what you just said was very key. Is most organizations, the IT is a supporting function, if not the function, right? It, operating the business is the function. Anything that you spend on IT is taking money away from going to do new things as a business. And so anytime that you're inefficient, anytime that it's not working optimally, you're now causing the business, as why they call it tech debt, right? It's debt of my finances, debt of my opportunities being spent on IT where it's not where I want to be spending it.
right. So let's talk about the second piece there, the rationalization piece. So this is something that if you're the portfolio manager, rationalization is where you go through all those applications and you one try to understand what they all do, because let's just say you're a newer portfolio manager and these apps have been around maybe 20 years. You probably don't know what they all do. So you got to figure that out. And then you need to kind of figure out what to do with those. Some might have overlapping capabilities. Some might just be so old you need to get rid of them. Some might need to be refactored, or some you want to move to the cloud because you might get some savings there. So your job is to try to rationalize that entire portfolio. And it's a huge undertaking, and people spend years, organizations spend years doing this and don't really usually make a whole lot of progress, or it's very slow if they do.
So is that the Gartner 5 R's basically that you're alluding to?
Yeah, right. So you want to be able to make a good decision based on data, whether you want to retire something, refactor, rehost, re-architect. I think rebuild is the other one. But
Yeah.
yeah, you want to be able to categorize them so that you can do something with them.
It basically gives you your roadmap, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you might have to sequence that. You might have to build something new before you can replace an old thing, buy something new. Perhaps there's technology now you can just buy off the shelf that did the same thing. So these are all things you have to look into when you're making those decisions.
You think of the magnitude of that. You go into an environment, right, and you say, well, okay, well, here's my business process. And I'm learning this business process, and everyone says, okay, you log into this system to do this, and you log into that system to do that, and then you log into this other system over here to do this. You're just trying to figure out what systems you use to do the business process. You're taking it now down a whole nother layer
Yeah.
into all the components, widgets, code, etc., all buried within each one of those systems, which chances are in a legacy environment, no one knows exactly
Yeah,
how it works, right?
exactly. I was doing this about 10 years ago for the Department of Defense, and most of this work was manual. We had to, find out what each system did by interviewing people, sending out surveys, looking at architectures that may be incomplete or didn't exist, or they were old and outdated, trying to map systems to capabilities so you could see where maybe a couple things did the same function, and then maybe you could go from there. But it was, man, it was really hard and really frustrating. We made very little progress despite, years of being at it. So,
Well, and on a lot of legacy systems, the person maintaining it today isn't the person who built it or designed it.
right.
And so therefore, who then says, okay, well, I'm here to maintain this thing. I'm going to go back and understand every piece of code, everything, right? They're not going to do that.
Right.
Right. And particularly in the government space, you've got different contractors over the years that have taken over the maintenance of those systems. And, they're all going to do things differently. And they're also not going to be coming to you saying, oh, I found a way to save money by doing this or modernizing this way, saves you some money. They're not going to really, it's not really advantageous for them to go down that route.
They're not incentivized to do it,
No.
really, right?
Right.
All right. So, what tools are available? So, when you did this for a number of years, and I kind of know the answer to this already, but what
Yeah.
what tools what tools did you have available?
I mean, it was a lot of manual work, right? So we looked at what architecture was out there, and there are some architecture tools that we had in place, but a lot of it was pulling together using, Word documents, Excel files, just the normal Office products, because there was really no other good way to coalesce all this information. So it was just a lot of manual effort, and it required a lot of people and a lot of man hours.
So it really was that big ball of Christmas lights all strung
It
together.
really was. And you're trying to pull, trying to unravel one piece at a time and then comparing that to the other pieces. And it
Here,
was a
Russ, take care
bit
of
of a
it.
nightmare.
Okay, so now what tools are available?
This is really where it gets exciting because
And I've been waiting for this episode for like a
I
month.
know
Yeah. All right.
we recently have established a partnership with a company that has a tool that will it scans your system code and it will automatically produce your architecture visualizations. It will understand all of the connections within a system and even between systems. And it's just a game changing capability that as soon as we saw it, we were like, we've got to have this. This is an amazing tool. Other people need to have this. Other people need to know about this. And I think you and I are trying to get the word out about how fantastic this capability is. So finally, we've got a tool that's worthwhile.
So cool. Tell me more about that. So, what does the solution look like? All right. So, you kind of described it's a tool.
Right.
All
It's
right.
not really just a tool because, like, people could probably just go buy a tool. But what we've put together is a complete capability that combines several commercial tools with our McLean Forrester expertise in not only these tools and how to use them, how to interpret the data, but then how to do the work of the rationalization, how to do that portfolio management work to assist those portfolio managers. And then at the end of this, to do that rationalization piece and actually get in and use some of these newer AI powered tools to do refactoring. And we can do that so much faster and with better quality than doing it manually. So
What do you
we
call
offer like a complete solution that we call AppRat 360.
it? Application rationalization
Yeah,
360
you
degree.
got it. 360 because we're looking at a top-down view of the portfolio. We're looking at all the systems, scanning all those systems to kind of see what everything does and where everything fits and how it fits together. And then we're doing a bottom-up analysis where we're really doing a deep dive into that individual system code to understand exactly what it's doing, understand all those data connections. And we kind of do this in a two-phase process where we do all that analysis first, and then in phase two, we work with the portfolio manager with all that data and we work through, okay, what does a rationalization roadmap look like given all this information, given your systems and what we've seen, and then the refactoring phase begins from there. So it's kind of it would be a longer process if you were to go all the way through it, but we like to say let's start with phase one with the customer and do that analysis piece and then kind of step back together and take a look at what we've got and figure out the roadmap from there.
No, knowing that some organizations have started to do, because this whole migration to the cloud, that's kind of the catalyst for it,
Right.
right? Because they say, all right, we'll move to the cloud.
What does
Well,
that mean? Right.
right. And I don't want to just move to the cloud because that's lift and shift, and that's been proven to be sometimes more expensive if it's not the right fit. And understanding the right fit is the key piece here. And
Well,
so, go ahead.
one of the cool things about this partnership that we have with this company that their tooling will actually show you the cloud readiness of that system. So it'll tell you is it ready to be moved? Are there blockers in place? Are there things you need to do to upgrade or re-architect the system before it would be optimal to move to the cloud? So that's a big piece of it. And then that again informs all those rationalization decisions down the road.
It, from a portfolio manager's perspective, it's very important because historically you do all this manually, like you said, until you come across something like this capability that you're talking about, the whole thing is manual. So you may spend years, and we've talked to
We
customers, and
know
that's what they've
this.
said, right?
We've
We've
talked to
spent
lots of
years,
customers.
and
Yep.
I have low confidence in the answers that I have. So
Right.
this tool must take, and I already know, right? This tool takes hours, right?
Right. Hours to
Instead of
run, maybe even
years, right?
right.
It's hours.
Maybe a day if it's a really complex system or you're running multiple systems through, but it's lightning fast. So I mean, it really is a rapid discovery tool for your entire portfolio. It's pretty
Like,
amazing. And then the automatic generation of architecture it blows my mind. Like just and then you can drill down and kind of see all the way down to the source to the code level So you can see what code is actually driving the functions that you're looking at. It's remarkable.
The GUI interface is pretty cool because again, when you just said drill down, people can be imagining, well, that means I have to a whole bunch of commands that I have to type. No,
Yeah.
you literally double click and
Yep.
yeah.
You click down and then it zooms in, and you click down and it zooms in. It's pretty amazing.
So to think all this through, it starts at the top. I can see all the apps in my portfolio. I can see effectively the candidates for the 5 R's. I can also see the interdependencies on data, on systems, codes, functions. So if I were to be that really ambitious portfolio manager and say, hey, I want to get to a composable architecture, this is the key, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. That's going to be your pathway, because it's going to help you understand what all those systems are doing and what pieces of those systems you might be able to pull out and make into new services, or leverage in other ways within your portfolio. So it's really like will help you modernize.
It's interesting because this is under master data and under the data world. Um, there's a phraseology we say, build once, use many,
Right.
right? And that's now evolving over into application development. Build once, use many, because then on a composable architecture, you know already where all your candidates are. If it's a billing module contained in one system, well, how many systems do I do billing? Oh, I
Right.
have 8 systems. Can I now build once, use many on this billing module and simplify and become more modular? And therefore, when I'm building a system, I don't have to rebuild the modular
Right.
pieces, right? I
Right.
just build on top of that, almost like platform as a
That's
service in a way.
You're right. I mean, like that's where you want to be, so that when that new requirement comes in from wherever, right? We need to have this thing, then you're ready to go out and build that new thing because you've got all the pieces and parts in place. You can pull a little bit of this and a little bit of this and, create the new thing without having all this legacy tech debt in your way.
Speed and agility, right?
Yep. That's the goal. I mean, especially in today's market.
That's cool.
Yep.
So what else? So why wouldn't somebody just go buy this? So we're talking about this software. We have a partnership with the company. Why do you need a partnership? Why do you need McLean Forrester on this?
Yeah, that's a great question. But I mean, as you know, anytime you go out and just go out and buy some software, that doesn't mean you know how to use it. That doesn't mean you're an expert in how to leverage all of the insights it's going to provide and all the nuances of how it works. That's where we come in. We've used these tools. We've used these tools for many different purposes. We've worked with this partnership to get training. And so we can be the advisory services really that come along with the software. So we'll help get the software run. We'll help interpret those results. That's where that co-creation of that roadmap comes in, because we blend our expertise with the tooling and with also our expertise in software development, portfolio management, kind of blend all that together to really give that portfolio manager that roadmap that's going to make sense and really move them forward.
Like the village elder telling you, okay, I've already been down this road. Let me tell you how it's going to go.
Right. How many times have you been in an organization where you buy a new tool, everybody's excited about it, you might get a couple days of training, and then nobody really knows how to leverage like 10% of its capability, right?
Yep. we,
So
we
if
experienced that with a project
exactly. And
portfolio
so
software. It's
we
like,
we
okay,
would not want our customers to be flailing like that without the expertise and how to use the tool, interpret the information, and then get the most value out of it. So that's where we come in. We provide value in that way.
you have an F1 race car and you drop someone in the driver's seat and say, okay, go win the race. No,
It'd be fun, but not until you crash.
not going to happen. That's
Yep.
cool.
So
Apparat 360. I dig it.
it's exciting. We'd love to talk to some customers about this. If it's something you're thinking about, if these are challenges that resonate with you, drop us a message, go out on our website or out on LinkedIn and drop us a note. We'd be happy to chat a little bit more, even give you a demo and walk you through how we would do this. because it's fascinating. Like our mission is to get some of these emerging technologies out to our customers so that they can leverage, the new technologies and, in a great way. And so that's really what drives us. That's what motivates us. So we'd love to hear from you.
Culmination of cloud migration over the last handful of years, the composable apps, the AI pieces, having all of this kind of culminating. I can't imagine a portfolio manager anywhere. I'm putting myself in their shoes, who would go, "Oh yeah, I'm squared away. Nothing to work on here. No, nothing to see here."
I imagine they're probably overwhelmed with a lot of the day to day, and it's hard to even think about some of these things. It's just it's daunting. So
You are relying upon biased answers at times to have this tool that can go in now and say, "Here's an unbiased answer. It's based on the code, the written code of the system.
right,
It's the
yeah, it's a data driven decision making tool, really capability for the customer, and that's
undeniable source of truth."
something we really haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad we're doing this because I the only reason I want to do this is to be able to help people make their organizations run better, provide better services, evolve in this digital transformation world, and this is kind of cool stuff that helps get there.
All right.
All right,
I think
thanks.
that sums it up. That was wonderful. I appreciate your time and appreciate everybody listening. If you listened this far, thank you. And we have some exciting topics coming up in the future. I know that we've got, I think, some guest speakers coming up, which I think will make it pretty exciting. So you don't have to listen to me and Larry anymore.
Yeah, yeah, no one wants that. Not my students at WashU. The we have to have some like coupons or something to hand out to people if they watch all the way to the end. We'll give them a coupon code, and I don't know, just get anybody to listen to the end. All right, thanks everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
All right, bye bye.